All right, and we're back. All right, so we're going to have a nice video today. We're going to talk basketball. And I got this fucking light in my face. There it is. Anyway, so we're going to talk about how in the NBA, okay, not just the Lakers, the entire NBA is turning into this like one system league. Now, I grew up and I was watching, I was really getting into basketball when what's it called? Jordan came back to play for the Bulls again after his first retirement, and back then, like every team had their own system. Okay, now throughout the years, things changed. Right now teams are all playing like the same style. It's really annoying. I'll talk about the rules, and at the end, I'm gonna talk about the issue with the 3-point problem and a solution for that. All right. So I think the league is getting a little 3-point happy, right? It's pretty obvious. Now, back then you had the Chicago Bulls. They had the triangle offense, right? I'll do like in the second half of this video, I'm gonna do a diagram and it'll show what I'm talking about. A lot of different things. But each team back there had their own style. You know, you had the Reggie Miller and the Pacers, and you know he's running around screens and trying to get open shots. Not that that doesn't happen at all today, but today it's just almost all 3-pointers, right? So you had Patrick Ewing in the Knicks, and you know you tried to play the game like go inside out. You know, you get the ball to the big man, and he'll create a move or maybe get a double team and kick it out. You had Kobe and Shaq, right? Triangle offense under Phil Jackson. Also, you have the Spurs today, which historically have played like a good motion. You know, everybody's involved. Nobody's really a superstar, right? I mean, you had Tim Duncan and stuff, but everybody played in a system. They had their own unique style. And today, it's out of control, right? So it's interesting. Today, we have this obsession with the 3-point line. And it's a whole mathematical thing, okay? So what's happening now is that we have almost all these teams, and it goes back to like James Harden and the Rockets. And what's his name? Daryl Morey. So the whole analytics thing was like shoot more threes because you'll get 3 points instead of 2. Shoot often, or no, shoot quickly in the shot clock. Shot clock's 24 seconds, right? So shoot, I think it's within like 8 seconds or something. And even if you're not like fully open, I'm all good with threes. I'm cool with threes, but not when you're like not really actually open. So we have this whole thing, and now we're playing like this. So again, it started. I'm gonna try and get this, out in organized fashion. So you had the Houston Rockets, and people saw that was successful only really for like the regular season. Once the playoff comes, like you can get hot on any given day, but you can go ice cold too. So 3-pointers are not a consistent shot that you can rely on. It's something where like you just shoot a bunch and you hope you make enough. You make more than the other team. There's this video I saw from Jimmy High Roller and talks about how the NBA now is like so unpredictable in the playoffs specifically. It's a little hot in here. And the biggest indicator if you're going to get a win or not is if you make more threes than the other team. And if you do, you win like 75% of the time. So teams know this. And teams are now, again, it goes back to the Rockets. And then you had the Warriors with Steph Curry. And people thought they took a lot of threes, and they actually didn't. They didn't really even take the most threes. They just had a couple great 3-point shooters. And they got a lot of 2s and, layups and dunks. Now, what's happening now when I watch basketball is that everybody looks and plays the same. And what's happening is you just have 4 people around the 3-point line, and you have your big man who comes up, who sets a screen on the ball handler. He tries to drive to the basket, get a dunk or a layup. Which is the best shot in the game? Excuse me, dunk or a layup? I'll get back to that in a second. Now, if he doesn't get a dunk or a layup, he hopefully attracts another defender from somebody else who leaves one of the other people open at the 3-point line, and they pass it out, and hopefully they get a 3. And if he catches it and he's open, he shoots. And if he's kind of like covered, then what he does is he do the same play for him. Another guy comes, sets a pick. It could be the same guy who set the pick before. He goes out there. He sets the pick. He drives to the basket, tries to get a dunk or a layup. If not, he kick it out. So it's just very, I don't know, it's getting kind of annoying. And I get it. You know, what happens is like now the differentiator of a great team versus a good team is who has the best players and who can run that system the best. And I guess like you can say, oh, that's how it's always been, but no, it's not really. Like, I mean, there are some examples like the Detroit Pistons who played against the Lakers and they beat the Lakers. Who, you know, the Pistons didn't have a great team. It was like Rip Hamilton and what's it called, Prince. It was a Tayshaun Prince. And you had Rasheed Wallace. So they were a good team that worked together. No real superstars. So the thing is you need great decision makers, because instead of just a point guard making all the decisions, you have all these other players that also get the ball, who also running the pick and rolls and are making decisions. And so you're kind of reliant on hopefully one of the other players who gets the ball makes the right pass and takes a shot when they should take the shot, right? And so we have this. So like right now you have like the Timberwolves and the Mavs playing. And Luka Doncic is a great decision maker. He does that really well. And it's just interesting because you have Curry, who basically changed the game, as they say. You know, he made people realize that you can take a lot of threes, you can make a lot of threes, and you can shoot them from deep. So once people in the NBA started seeing this, they're like, oh, if he can do it, I can do it. So then they started working on more threes. And now the league is filled up with threes. People that's shooting tons of threes. The other person who changed the game, and I don't think they really know, nobody really talks about it. They don't really get credit for it. Is LeBron? LeBron really set the example for a one-man system like Luka Doncic. You give him the ball, he'll make decisions, he'll manipulate the defenders, he'll say, hey, you come to me, set a pick here, I want to get a switch, and I want to get this over here. So he's like a playmaker, all-in-one, decision maker, and a scorer. So that trickled down to like James Harden, right? And then Ben Simmons and Luka Doncic now. And then so now what's happening is two things. One, your best player gets the ball, whether he's the point guard or not. He makes gets most of the shots, primary decision maker. And then you have Curry, who encouraged all these three-pointers. So those two things combined created this league that we have today. And it's absurd, and it's silly, and it needs to change. So we're going to talk about how we can change that. And we'll talk about the rules and how we got to this point. Besides Curry and LeBron, it had to do with, I don't know why I have this pen. It had to do with the illegal defense rule that was back in like the 90s when Jordan was playing. Eventually, they got rid of that. I think it was in 2001, but I'm not sure. So the illegal defense rule means if you have the ball in the post, right, and you have a teammate who's above the three-point line, the person defending the teammate at the three-point line, he can't play this middle ground of half defending him and half helping on you, right? He can't be, the rule is below the foul line. So if your guy's behind the three-point line, you have to be close to him, or if you're not close to him, you need to be all the way double teaming. And if you're in this middle ground, illegal defense, the guy with the ball gets a free throw. So from there, things changed. Once they got rid of that, people can play defense anywhere on the court, and you get zone defense. So the way to keep players away, so the ISO scorer can get the ball and not have to worry about all these other defenders, in his way to try and get to the basket, is you have to get great three-point shooters out on your team, so the defenders have to stay close to them. And here we are, right? So I'll also mention that the problem with the three-point line in the NBA today, specifically the three-point line, and that they're shooting so many threes, is that people are too good at making threes now, to the point where teams are telling their players, don't shoot mid-range jump shots, two-pointers. They say, just get a dunk or a layup. If not, shoot a three. And actually, they encourage threes and maybe way too much. They should be saying dunk or layup first, but they're really just saying, hey, if you're semi-open or you're open three, shoot it. So what's happening is now we're shooting absurd amounts of threes. People can get hot out of nowhere. and then they're up 20, up 30 out of nowhere, or you can miss a lot of threes and be down by 20, 30 out of nowhere, or you can come back really quickly. So it's just so random now. It's just like you just happen to be hot that day, or you happen to be cold that day. Like, you don't really consistently shoot your average. You can have a good night or a bad night, and it's just so random. It's absurd, and everybody's going for the threes. And the problem is, again, people are shooting. They're too good at threes. There's too many, and maybe not too good. There's too many people. Teams are shooting too many threes, and they have additional players that can actually make them. And what's happening is you have to shoot mathematically. If you shoot 50% from 2, all you need to shoot from 3 to offset that is 33%. Okay? So if you take 100 3-pointers and you make 33 of them, that's 99 points. But if you're taking 2s, you have to make half of them to get 100 points. So you might as well shoot more 3s, because you're probably going to make them right now. The league average is like 34, 35%. You're going to make more 3s to offset people making 50% of their 2s. It's so nuts, because mid-range shots don't go in at 50%. That's like people. There are people that shoot really well from mid-range, but not consistently 50%. That was like Jordan. Jordan was like a great mid-range shooter, like the best ever, right? One of the best ever mid-range shooters you can think of, or Kawhi Leonard. Like, there's very few people that can make 2-pointers that way. So the thing is, if you're not going to make half of your 2s, if you're not going to shoot your mid-range shots at 50%, don't shoot them. You might as well shoot a 3, right? That's the mathematical problem. And even though in the playoffs, mid-range shots are actually very effective, the analytics and the numbers say don't take them. And the thing is, with 3-point shots, it's just a lot to do with confidence, right? So if you're feeling good, you're going to take more 3s, and if you miss a few, you lose confidence. And it's just it's a feel and a touch, and it's a confidence thing. There's no real consistency. So 2s actually end up working a little bit better in the playoffs. Close games, tight games, high pressure games, but they're not doing it. They're not doing it. So we're going to go and do some diagrams and show what's going on, so you can see what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to talk about how the lighting is so much better now. And then I'm going to talk about how to solve this problem, because it needs to be solved. The NBA is a mess right now, with every team jacking up like 20, 33s. It's absurd. And it just is making the NBA like not fun to watch, really. It's like you watch any game, almost every team looks the same. You know, if you just like in the past, you can tell like, oh, this is this team because they're running their offense. That's their style. Now it's like everybody's doing the same. They just look like each other and just have different players. So let's do the diagrams. I'll be right back. All right, so I decided that I'm going to make this video in 2 parts. So the second part will have the diagrams of what the solutions are, how the rules worked, all right, or how the rules were, for illegal defense, right, and what's happening in the league, diagram that out, and the solution for the 3-point line in part 2. All right, so make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and watch part 2 for the full clip. Peace.